What's up guys, it's your favorite Kiwi coach, and give me 6 months of your time, I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to Kiwi Golf Japan, we do a bunch of videos where we analyze PGA Tour professional golf swings. We analyze our client before and after videos. We do videos like this where we're talking about shallow to steep. Really anything about the golf swing, golf instruction. If you're interested, this is the perfect channel for you, and let's go ahead and jump in. So like I said, this particular video, we're gonna be talking about this concept of shallow to steep. So if you're interested in the Western golf swing, right, the world's latest golf swing, this is gonna be the perfect video for you because this is a concept that I don't hear talked about a lot here in Japan. So let's go ahead and get into the first point of this shallow to steep concept. But before we get into the video, I wanna give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you guys did not know, YouTube does not pay the bills. So if you want to help support this channel and you don't want Kiwi Coach to be broke out on the streets, well, sign up for the membership site by clicking the link down below after this video is over. And with that out of the way, now let's get into the video. So if you guys haven't been watching our channel, we're a little bit on a shallowing series currently. So let me quickly review, what is shallowing first, because a lot of you guys might not even understand the concept. And then from there, once we get over the shallowing concept, we're going to start to get into kind of what we traditionally heard talked about when we hear shallowing here in Japan, and then versus more so what we hear in America when we talk about this shallow to steep concept. So let's go hop into shallowing first. So now when we're talking about shallowing, we're discussing it from position 4 to position 5 typically. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I say P4, P5, that's top of the swing and then about halfway down when this lead arm is parallel to the ground. That's typically the section in the golf swing that when you do talk about shallowing, that is when you are talking about shallowing. Now, a lot of you guys probably think about shallowing as this motion, or maybe even this motion. The main point here is you're taking this club shaft, you're lowering it to the ground, and then also maybe some of you guys might even be twisting it slightly. All of that in my book you can call shallowing. However, in my personal opinion, I personally think this is more so shallowing than this, but I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty details about that. Let's just say both of those are shallowing. So now that you have a good understanding of, shallowing and when it's typically talked about, let's start getting into what the Japanese are typically talking about when they talk about shallowing. Now, in that last section I was talking about from position 4 to position 5, that's typically when you should think about shallowing, and that's when you should be talking about it. When we hear it in Japan, actually, for the most part, people think about shallowing as an overall downswing motion. So let me explain what that means. So from the top of the swing all the way into impact, that's typically when Japanese instructors define shallowing is occurring. Now again, that's not what I think it is. I think it's more so of a transition move, right, from P4 to P5. But that is a major difference between more so of the Western swing and what you hear in Japan. They typically talk about this shallowing concept as an overall motion that you should be doing all the way throughout the downswing. So now in America, you're typically not talking about shallowing as an overall downswing motion. Now there are some instructors who would talk about getting this club shaft to flatten all the way down into impact. I think it's a very rare amount of instructors, and I don't think there's too many nowadays. Maybe back in like 2014, 16 range, there was a lot more. But nowadays, most people in America, the Western golf swing, they're talking about P4 to P5, you either want to lower this club shaft, right, without twisting, or you want to have a little bit of twist, whatever it is. From this position, most instructors are now talking about getting this club head to actually start to move out towards the hands here, and then actually continue to move out towards the hands as it approaches the golf ball. Hence, we like to call that the steepening move. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Kiwi Coach, I think you're wrong. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and all of them say, if you steepen the club shaft, that is a bad thing. And this is really why I'm making this video, because I think steepening is a very good thing. It's just more so the sequence or the timing of when it occurs is what makes it good or bad. So to get this point though, let me start to explain first off what would actually happen if we did actually shallow the club shaft all the way into the impact, because I think it's going to make sense on why steepening could be a good thing. So let's jump to that point. So now, if we actually shallow this club shaft all the way down into the ball, let's see exactly what would happen. So from this point into impact, I'm going to be consistently getting the club shaft to flatten this way all the way down in that section. So watch what happens. So as I start to come down and I start to flatten, consistently flatten, consistently flatten, consistently flatten. First off, take a look at what happens when the club shaft is parallel to the ground. This club shaft right here is at a 45-degree angle, right? So the club head is well behind the hands, which means it's very far away from the golf ball at this point. Now watch me continue to actually flatten as I come down. Look where the club head continues to move towards. Continues to move towards my body, right? Club head's here, pointed almost 90 degrees right, and the golf ball's there. How am I going to get this club head out to the ball? Well, the only thing I can do is really just throw the club head out this way and then probably have a pretty massive flip move to hit the golf ball. And this is exactly why, if you actually break this down logically, we should never shallow the golf club all the way throughout the downswing. Because if we did that, the club head would get very, very close to our body and nowhere near the golf ball, and we would never hit the golf ball. This is such an important point to understand. So now you're probably asking yourself, why do these instructors tell us then on all these YouTube videos that we should be flattening, 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 flattening all the way down into the golf ball? And to answer that question, I think this just brings up the cultural differences between Western people and Japanese people. And if you guys are getting triggered right now, if you guys are offended, I completely apologize. You can click off the video, right? And leave a comment first and then click off. But the main purpose here is, in Western culture, we typically like to be very nuanced with our answer, and we give kind of guidelines and parameters. Typically here in Japan, the instructor kind of has an image of what the student should do, and they're just going to teach that image even if it's not technically correct. So what I mean there is, if I was in a lesson, I would tell a student, if you're really, really vertical with the club shaft here, I don't mind you feeling like you almost flatten all the way down into impact, because it's going to be an offsetting feeling to get rid of this too steep motion. But in real, we really want you to be at this position, and this position. So if you actually start to get too far this way, that would be bad and you have to stop it, right? That's how I would explain it. Versus here in Japan, they're gonna tell you, this is always bad, never do this. This is exactly what you should do here, always do this. That is the big difference in terms of cultural differences of how we teach. And this is why I'm making this video for all of you guys out there who are confused. So now getting back to the reel now, from typically P4 to P5, at this position 5, this is typically when the club shaft's at its most flat angle here. And from this angle all the way into the golf ball. All right, that's it for you guys on YouTube. But before you guys click off, let me give you some quick wrap-up points. So I think the big point here is understand that no good players shallow the club and then shallow it again, right? They do not consistently shallow from the top of the swing all the way into impact. All great players, they might shallow in transition, yes, but there comes a point where the club head starts to move out towards the hands and steepen to move out towards the golf ball. That is a real necessary move that has to happen. Now, does it need to feel like you are doing that? Maybe not. But absolutely in the real, it definitely has to happen, so make sure that you're understanding that. Another major point you need to understand when you're watching these Japanese golf instructors, just understand the cultural differences, right? So if you watch my channel versus their channel, I think you'll see it, right? We're a lot more nuanced with the way that we discuss what we're talking about. We hopefully can provide more value that way, but just understand typically Japanese instructors, this could be good or bad. They're teaching their specific feelings, and they're gonna teach you in absolutes. So it's either this or that, black, white. There's no nuance, right? So if you want the nuance, this is the perfect channel. Make sure to subscribe. Also, while you guys are subscribing, make sure to check out the Kiwi Coach 6-month program. Check out that Kiwi Platinum membership site as well. It really supports this YouTube channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.